Hey everyone, it is late right now, but I wanted to get on here and just let you know I went to see my mom today. I did get to see her finally. The last time was Christmas Eve. I did wear a mask just in case. So yeah, so that was interesting. When we first got there, I stopped before I got there and got her a bean burrito from Taco Bell. That's her favorite. And so then we took it to her. She seemed to be, at first, she was upset. Not at us. She was upset because she wanted me to bring her shorts because she said her clothes are too heavy. And her shoes are too heavy, and her pants are too heavy. Everything's too heavy. So she's obviously losing more muscle mass at this point. And she asked to go to the bathroom so many different times. She doesn't really understand she's not supposed to be walking. I have to remind her, stay in your wheelchair. You don't want to get up and fall. She was excited to see me and my son. My oldest went with me. We put her pictures in her photo album, and then she and I went through the photo album 2 different times. Yeah, so the only time she really got upset was when we first got there. And then she calmed down for my son. And so then he ended up leaving, and I stayed there with her for a few hours. And so we took her nail polish off because that nail polish has held on for a long time. Let's put it that way. I think when she first went to the first nursing home is when I painted them. And then the third place she went, I went over the paint with more. So it finally was time to take this off. She decided she didn't want to repaint them, not today. So we're going to try maybe Monday. So right now we just don't have anything on them. So I took her some bottled water because she loves bottled water. We sat and talked, a lot. I tried to get her to do some writing. She didn't really want to do that. She got overwhelmed by that. I took a whiteboard that she and I used to work on. I'm not sure she can write anymore, so I kind of wanted to see, but she got very anxious about it, so we put that away. So it was mostly us talking and just hanging out, and me holding her hand and talking to her. Let's see. I got to see her roommate, who I love, and the other one that I love. There's two of them that I just love. Except for she does have she always called them the old people bruises, where they're like red. So I don't know. She had those on her arms. So I gotta keep an eye on that because I don't know if it's something, if she's bumping into things or what's going on. So I do want to keep an eye on that. I can't put a camera in her room only because she has a roommate. So, because of privacy and stuff, I don't want to put a camera in her room because I've heard some people do that, even at nursing homes. Yeah, so, it's just something I gotta keep an eye on. Obviously, yeah, so otherwise we had a good time. She didn't have the best, they didn't really put an outfit together. Hopefully they're just washing laundry. I don't know. When they got her dressed, she had Santa pants on with with some shirt. I think what it was that she was too hot, maybe. And instead of being like, I'm hot, I think she was saying everything was too heavy. But I'm not sure. She ate dinner. Thankfully, I was there because her plate came with mashed potatoes and like turkey. I could smell it as soon as I took the lid thing off. So I told the nurse right away, and they gave her green beans instead. She does ask to go to the bathroom all the time. She's afraid of using the bathroom like in her pull up. Um, she does not like to do that and doesn't want to. But the problem is, like a lot of places, they are short staffed. So sometimes they only have like one CNA. The nurse doesn't seem to like to take people to the bathroom. So I think while I was there, they took her 3 or 4 times. I have a feeling that if I wasn't there, they wouldn't have. I think places do act better when the family is there. Obviously. I could have taken her to the bathroom. I'm there to see her. I don't mind usually doing it. I just, still don't feel 100%. So I didn't feel like doing it. Um, so, yeah. So, she has to go to the bathroom over and over. I know they get kind of irritated by that because she'll ask like 11 times. Yeah, like throughout, an hour or two, throughout the day. But she's always had intestinal problems, which can go from constipation to diarrhea, all the time. So, she gets really scared about that. And she's scared she'll get in trouble if she goes in her pants. So, yeah, she does. And then they don't want her walking, right? So she has to ask. And, so they can't have it both ways, right? So yeah, so we did that. I fed her the bean burrito from Taco Bell. It was kind of, I hate to say sad, but it was, because she didn't know how to eat it anymore. I put it up, I held it because I was afraid, it would fall apart, right? And so she looked at me and she's like, what do I do with this? And she kind of started squeezing it, and I'm like, no, don't squeeze it, right? All the stuff would come out all over her. So, she did take a few bites, but I don't think she finished it unless it was after I left. Yeah, so it was nice to see her. It was wonderful, amazing to see her. But it does, take a lot out of me mentally, or emotionally, I guess, to see her like that. We held hands, of course, and talked and laughed. I don't think she remembered my son was there, with us, because he left. He had somewhere to go, until I mentioned something about him leaving. Then she remembered. I did get to talk to the physical therapist for a minute, and she, said she was, there's not really much you can do, right? They are doing, like, different therapies, but there's only so much you can do, and that she's like, she can't remember anything. And I'm like, she remembers a little more than I think you think sometimes. Maybe not for days, but there's some things that we've talked about that she remembered, like, she remembered I was sick. Maybe 2 or 3 days after I told her, she brought it up. I didn't. She asked how I was feeling, actually, that day. But, I'm not sure she would have remembered any, again, but yeah, she, I'm trying to think, it was cute because she was telling me about, she kept saying, oh, is that so-and-so? Is that so-and-so over there? Oh, that looks like so-and-so, And so I'm like, no. And then she gets confused because she wanted to go home to eat pizza. And I'm like, huh? I'm trying to explain to her, like, this is your home. Um, she's like, no, I just want to get out of here. I just want to get out of here. I want to go wherever my home is and eat, or whatever. So it was kind of cute. She thought people were leaving her. Um, I did get a little frustrated because I needed to leave. I was there forever, it felt like. And, but I didn't want to leave her alone. There was only one nurse and one CNA at that time, or the only one I saw, and she needed to go to the bathroom. So I thought, oh, that's a perfect time. They can put her to bed, and I can leave, right? Because, leaving is hard. They start crying, want to go with you. And so the nurse is like, oh, you gotta wait for the CNA. She didn't even know where her CNA was. She was off giving someone a shower. My mom was the last person they came and got, so I was there waiting for a while because my mom would have gotten up and probably walked. So that was a little rough. Um, but yeah, so we looked at the photos. I put lotion on her face, and she has bruises. I don't know if they're called bruises, but like where older people get the big red, like, bruises look things on her arms. And that broke my heart because she used to say she didn't like them because, that's what older people got, she said. And so that really upset her. But yeah, so that was my visit with my mom today. So, stay tuned for Monday because I hope I have another video about Monday. So, I will talk to you guys later. I just, again, I'm keeping an eye on her arms because that does kind of worry me. Because there's so many things it could be, It could be she hit something, It could be, that someone's grabbing her arm a little too hard, right? But it's the purple, bruises or reddish, whatever color, that older people do seem to get. Um, and then one of the patients there, um, I've dealt with her. I don't want to say I dealt with her. I've talked to her a couple times. And the first time I was there, she came up to me, like the very first time, and asked if she could use my cell phone to call somebody. And I told her, I was like, my phone's dead. What am I supposed to say? I don't know if they're allowed to use cell phones. I don't know I don't know her. So she was like, oh, your phone died just right when I asked you? And I'm like, yep. I don't know if they wanted them to call, so, or if the person she was calling was even alive. So then Christmas Eve, we had a big box, and she asked for the box when it was empty. She wanted to send a package to her family, and I'm like, sure, you can have the box. It's yours. You would have thought I gave this woman $1,000, she was so excited. So then tonight, I noticed, and she's Hispanic, and tonight she went up to another patient and started speaking in Spanish, and I heard the nurse go, so and so, she doesn't speak Spanish. She doesn't understand you. But somehow they ended up understanding each other enough to where the one lady went over and sat at the table with the Spanish lady. So later she came up to me and she's like standing there and she looks at me. She goes, I wanted to ask you a question because I know she speaks English. And then she switched to Spanish. I'm lucky if I can speak English. I always love Spanish. yeah, so she starts speaking Spanish to me, and again, I felt bad because I'm like, I love Spanish, don't get me wrong. I've tried to learn it so many times, but yeah, I didn't understand her. The only one that would have in my house, maybe, is my oldest. Um, so yeah, that was kind of funny. And that and my mom thought that one of the workers was like dipping chips in some food or something, where they weren't. They were getting the trays off the cart that they bring the food in. So she ate dinner and then went to the bathroom, and I left. But yeah, again, I will hopefully get to share more for Monday with you about my mom if you're interested. Um, you know, it's very hard to see your mom go from so independent to not remembering how to eat her favorite food, or remembering um she's the one. I mean, not that I don't like sandhill cranes, but if you've seen any of my videos below with the big birds, the sandhill cranes, that was her joy. That was her everything. We chased them because she was in love with them. And so some of the pictures in her photo album are of pictures that she took of the sandhill cranes. And she remembers they're her birds, she calls them. She doesn't remember their name, and she doesn't light up like she did, when she, even just seeing the pictures. And that's heartbreaking. And to see how fragile and loss of muscle that she has on her um, is really upsetting to see. And I'm trying to enjoy every moment with her and talk to her every day. But it's emotionally draining to see your loved one like that. And so if you've been through this, I know you have to understand. And but we're trying. And so again, I'm gonna see her Monday, hopefully, is the plan, and we will go from there. Have a good night. Bye.